What is up, my viewers and subscribers? I am Mike Wayne, aka Rebel180, and in this video, I'm going to do a quick recap of the Lucha Underground Season 2 premiere, and then I'm going to have a discussion about Jim Cornette. Now, to kick off the show, I'm going it turns out that Katrina is now in charge of Lucha Underground, which it completely baffles me. And the show actually starts off with Vampiro, who was revealed to be Pentagon Jr.'s master in the season 1 finale of Lucha Underground. And now he's in this mental ward, which completely confused me, because I don't, they never explained how he actually got there. But he, he's having all these flashbacks and everything, and he has one moment where he thinks about beating up everybody in the place, but he doesn't actually do it. Anyways, he gets out, and Matt Striker tells him that the temple is a much darker place now. And so we go to Katrina, who, like I said, is in charge now, and she's talking to Phoenix, saying that he has to pretty much defend his Gift of the Gods title to earn a match with Mil Muertes. And so that match takes place, and some really good spots, it was against King Cuerno. King Cuerno did like a DDT off the apron, one of those hanging DDTs like Randy Orton does. He did one of those off the apron. And, he did the arrow from the depths of hell, and Phoenix did some really cool moves, like the spinning, it's like a spinning crossbody type thing. He did a couple of springboard cutters, The second one, of course, was turned into a dragon sleeper, which King Cuerno escaped. King Cuerno did his finisher, which it's supposed to be his finisher. It's called the Thrill of the Hunt, which Phoenix kicked out of, pretty much. And then later on, he does a modified version. So, yeah, sort of like a modified version of the Tombstone Piledriver, where he actually hooks the legs instead of just holding him, and it looks pretty devastating, a modified version of the Tombstone Piledriver, where instead of lifting them up like a power bomb, sort of like a half power bomb, they do it the reverse way. If you're a wrestling fan, you would know this, which most of my subscribers are. Not that anyone's going to be watching this anyways. The former trios champions, the former trios tag champions, the underdogs, Son of Havoc and Helico and Ivelisse, they ask for a rematch against the Disciples of Death, and they want their titles back. But Katrina turns their request down and says they'll all three be fighting for a chance to face Mil Muertes for his title. And so, all three of them agree to it, and the one person that was really on fire in this match, all of them were really good, but Ivelisse was incredible in this match. There was one point where at the beginning of the match, they started to do this whole three-way test of strength, which I thought it would have been interesting to see, because that's never been done before. But instead, And Helico kept messing with Ivelisse, moving his hand up and down. And so she kicks him in the leg, and I think slaps him in the chest or something. And then Son of Havoc turns to her and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then she slaps him in the face. And she's doing all kinds of crazy moves, like uh, she did a Hurricane Rana off the top rope to Angelico. She I think she did a crossbody to one of them. I forgot exactly who. I don't know, but she took a Shuri knee to the head, which was actually meant for Son of Havoc, and she even took a suicide dive from Son of Havoc. And Son of Havoc, he's about to pretty much win the match with a shooting star press, but then Ivelisse uh, gets on the apron, pulls his leg off the rope, and then she rolls Angelico up. Now we get to quite possibly the most disappointing match, which, I know people would hear that and they'd be like, well, you just didn't like it because it was a man versus woman. No, I think some women are tough as hell, and you can put them up against certain men. Like I said, Ivelisse did incredible against Son of Havoc and Helico. She even locked Son of Havoc's arm uh, on the rope and started kicking him like 10 times in the chest. 10 or 11, maybe even 12 times. I don't remember. But she was incredible in that match. But the thing is, when you put a 100 plus pound woman up against a over 300-pound man, that's not going to go well. I would have rather seen, no disrespect to Ivelisse, but if it was a woman they wanted to go against him, I would have rather seen maybe Sexy Star or possibly Black Lotus, make her debut. And uh, she didn't do so hot in that match. She did she tried to do a rear naked choke. It didn't work. The only real offense she got on him was that tornado DVT she did, and she tried to roll him up. That didn't work, and of course he won with the flatliner, and that's about it. But then we get to a ending scene where these three guys, they asked about the temple from Black Lotus, and she took them to some sort of storage room or something where they had to pay to get in, and they asked who is fighting, and uh, King Dario Cueto. Dario Cueto says you are, and then they all get beat up from behind the cage. We don't see what's happening, but it's clear that they got beat up by Matanza. Matanza Cueto, Dario's brother, Dario's larger, more powerful brother, who they still have not shown actually do anything. They still haven't shown anything about him except for his face at the end of season 1, and that's all anyone's really seen of him. Uh, we saw him beat up one of the crew, but that's about it. But I mean, I hope that they do a lot better in the next episode this Wednesday. But anyways, now that that's out of the way, I told you I did that recap so I can talk about this. Jim Cornette. He went on the most disgusting tirade I have ever heard in my life. He was talking about Lucha Underground, saying that it was the most heinous horse shit he had ever seen. saying how it was unbelievable and it just looked too much like a movie, which it's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to have the look and feel of a movie, and plus, it's more believable than the crap they do in WWE, and it's more unpredictable because I did not see anything coming. By the way, Prince Puma had to come in and save Ivelisse. Then, you know, Pentagon Jr. Came in from behind with a lung blower to Mil Muertes and sort of snapped his arm. And we'll see how that plays out in the next episode. But anyways, Jim Cornette. I don't know what this guy's problem is, because, see, I've actually met him in real life. And I was at Comic-Con, and I met him. And he seemed like a really cool guy, you know. We got to talking, and he seemed like a cool guy. And I asked him about his favorite wrestler. I asked him about the most difficult wrestler that he'd ever worked with, and he said it was Booker T in TNA, because every idea they gave him, he would turn down. And he told me, I think it was Trevor Murdoch or maybe Lance Cade, something like that. He wanted to do like this. There's a term for it, but he basically wanted Booker T to punch him in the eye. I don't know why he would want him to do that, but whatever. And so I guess he wanted to show that he was tough enough to take it, whatever. And Booker T said no, and Jim Cornette said, "Well, I figured you would say that," and and then and then Booker T basically said the reason why he didn't want to do it was because he was afraid he was going to break his hand before he did his hand modeling commercial. And then Jim Cornette said, "Well, my God, please don't break your foot kicking him." And he said something like that. It was funny. But, you know, we talked about how people bring up the whole Russo thing like 100 times a year. They must have, and he said that gets old. And there were some questions that people brought up, like the Jericho thing. He got annoyed by that. But he said mine was actually the freshest question he had gotten, because he doesn't get that type of question that often. But I mean, he seemed like a really cool guy, but I guess he's out of touch. He must be out of touch. Imagine what a Jim Cornette wrestling company would look like. A bunch of burly middle-aged men who only do headlocks, wrist holds, and body slams. That's it. And I mean, if I run into him again, I don't know what I would say to him. Like, why do you hate Lucha Underground so much? Just because there's some unbelievable stuff in it? Yeah, because I definitely believe in what The Undertaker represents. Oh, yeah. Kane as a demon? Yeah. that's completely believable, right? You know? Super Cena? Really? I mean, Lucha Underground is fresh. And I looked this up because they don't really say much about it in Lucha Underground, and I don't really have that many Mexican friends to tell me about this stuff. But luchador actually translates to fighter, which is basically what they're trying to be. They're trying to be fighters and not traditional wrestling. Like, traditional wrestling, no one cares about that anymore. No one cares about the traditional basic moves anymore. They want high impact action, and that's what Lucha Underground gives them. It's as simple as that. You know, that's what Lucha Underground represents. The hardcore fans that like to see high impact, fast paced action, and that's what Lucha Underground does. Aside from the main event of last week's show, all the other matches were fine. They have like 3 matches because it's only 1 hour. Sometimes they have like 4 because they have like a quick one-off match. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he would do this. The only theory is that he just doesn't like New Age wrestling, and like there's a revolution going on. It's not just Lucha Underground. They're trying it in. It's mainly Lucha Underground though, right? But it's evolution. You can't just be doing the same thing every single decade. It gets old. So they do this new stuff, and it's unpredictable. I can predict. I can tell you the outcome of a match before it happens on WWE or TNA or whatever. But I can hardly ever say who's gonna win in Lucha Underground. That's what it's. That's why I like it, because it's new, it's fresh, and that's what I guess that's what he doesn't get, is that you have to evolve. But I mean, I just wanted to give my personal opinion on this because right now it's a pretty hot topic, and considering I don't get a lot of traffic on this channel anyways, it can't hurt anything. But I'm just going to end it with basically, I don't get it. I guess he's entitled to his opinion no matter how disgusting it comes out as. I mean, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it to believe it. It's the worst rant of all time. But yeah, so I think tomorrow uh, I'm going to upload a brand new episode of ECB Brawlers. If anyone wants to check that out, if anyone is watching, that is. And whatever, you know. And this Sunday, I'm actually going to upload uh, my first video of a series, the best of my career mode sort of thing. I have clips on. I have clips recorded already, so that should be good. So I am Mike Wayne, aka Rebel 180. Please rate and comment. So long for now.